Welcome back to CIA Declassified. We're entering a world where a piece of paper is more dangerous than a grenade. Imagine you're a high-ranking official in Warsaw, 1950. You've spent your life building the revolution. Then one morning, your best friend, the man who saved your life in the resistance, looks at you with cold eyes. Why? Because a secret file just landed on his desk suggesting you've been on the CIA payroll for years. Except you haven't. But in the world of Operation Splinter Factor, the truth is irrelevant. The only thing that matters is the splinter. This wasn't just a prank. It was a surgical strike on the psyche of a nation. Operation Splinter Factor was the brainchild of Frank Wisner, head of the Office of Policy Coordination. His goal was to exploit the natural paranoia of Joseph Stalin by making him believe his own satellites were crawling with Western agents. A quote from a declassified internal CIA strategy paper. The objective is to create a state of mind in which the communist leadership will become its own executioner, liquidating its most capable elements out of a misplaced fear of treachery, end quote. The key player was a man named Joseph Sviatlo. It's spelled Swiatlo, which I think is pronounced Sviatlo. A high-ranking Polish intelligence officer who defected to the West. The CIA used his intimate knowledge to draft letters that looked 100% authentic. The agency utilized black radio stations broadcasting from West Berlin to name-drop loyal Polish officials as if they were secret American assets. Over 15,000 Polish citizens, including top-tier party members, were arrested or purged as a direct result of these ghost files. A quote from the defector Joseph in a 1954 Radio Free Europe broadcast. There is no one you can trust. Every word you speak to your comrade is being recorded for a file that will eventually destroy you. End quote. The CIA's forgeries and counterfeits staff created bank records for Swiss accounts that never existed, proving that Polish generals were taking American bribes. The operation was so successful in Poland that the agency attempted to replicate it in Czechoslovakia under the name Operation Belt. Agency psychologists monitored the purge rate in Warsaw to determine the saturation point, the moment where the government would stop functioning due to sheer terror. Splinter Factor directly led to the downfall of Władysław, Wladysław, Gomulka, which I think is Gumulka, the leader of the Polish Workers' Party, who was imprisoned based on fabricated evidence. The operation utilized mailed poison, forged letters from Western lovers of family members designed to trigger internal security investigations. A secret disinformation workshop was set up in Frankfurt specifically to age the paper and ink of these forged documents to make them look years old. The CIA tracked the suicide rate among Polish bureaucrats as a metric for the operation's effectiveness. Sviatlo provided the agency with the personal fears and dark secrets of his former colleagues, allowing the CIA to tailor each forgery to the victim's specific weaknesses. The operation caused such chaos that the Polish secret police began investigating their own investigators, a phenomenon the CIA called the Ouroboros effect. It's Ouroboros. Splinter Factor ended abruptly in the mid-50s when the agency realized the purges were actually making the remaining party members more fanatically loyal to Stalin out of survival. Yosef was so valuable that the CIA provided him with a new identity and a quiet life in the American suburbs, where he reportedly consulted on paranoia management for decades. The agency's Special Materials Laboratory developed a chemical process to mimic the smell of Soviet tobacco on forged letters to add another layer of authenticity. A quote from a CIA internal post-mortem dated 1956. The disruption of the Polish 9th Division command structure was achieved entirely through the exploitation of existing rivalries. End quote. During the height of the operation, Polish officials became so paranoid they stopped using telephones, entirely relying on handwritten notes that the CIA then intercepted and altered. Operation Splinter Factor was one of the first major uses of gray propaganda, where the source is seemingly neutral but the content is strictly controlled by the agency. If you look at the declassified summary of Operation Splinter Factor, there's a section on wet work correlation that is buried under a mountain of black ink. The heaviest redactions follow the final disposition of Asset X. A theory that whispers through the halls of Langley is that the CIA didn't just forge documents. Speculation suggests the black bars hide the suicide asset that the agent operatives were actually sent into Warsaw to finish the job for officials who were too scared to end their own lives. And the bars cover the involuntary euthanasia logs. A rumor among cold case researchers suggests the black bars hide the double splinter. Speculation is that the CIA was actually running a second operation inside Splinter Factor to purge American double agents, and the redactions cover the domestic liquidations performed on U.S. soil. Some believe the redactions in the target selection section of the Vatican Connection suggests that the agency was using the Polish Catholic Church to distribute the forgeries during confession, and the black bars hide the Holy See liaison names. Could the black bars hide the poisoned mind? One theory suggests the CIA used a radio hypnosis technique during their black radio broadcast. Speculation is that the redactions cover the subliminal command frequencies that forced officials to confess to crimes they didn't commit. Some believe the redactions hide the Stalin memo. The theory is that the CIA successfully forged a letter from Stalin ordering the execution of his own children, and the black bars hide the biological asset erasure protocols. There is a theory that the black bars in the post-operational review hide the Svieto paradox. Speculation suggests Yosef never actually defected, but was sent by the Soviets to help the CIA purge the weak members of the party, and the black bars hide the controlled betrayal transcripts. Some speculate the redactions hide the paper trail. The theory is that the CIA used a self-destructing ink that would vanish after being read, leaving the victim with no evidence to prove their innocence, and the bars hide the chemical disappearance formulas. Whispers claim the black bars hide the silent frequency. The theory is that the CIA installed devices in Warsaw that emitted low-frequency waves to induce anxiety and paranoia, and the redactions cover the infrasound deployment maps. Some speculate the redactions hide the family ransom. The theory is that the CIA kidnapped the families of Polish officials to force them to confirm the forgeries, and the black bars hide the hostage maintenance logs. Some speculate the redactions hide the polonium trace. The theory is that the CIA dusted the forged documents with radioactive isotopes to track where they went, and the black bars hide the radiation exposure reports for the victims. Some dark web historians whisper about the mirror purge. The theory suggests the black bars in the 1953 log hide a secret agreement where the CIA and the KGB actually traded names of troublesome officers to be eliminated by their own sides, and the redactions cover the mutual house cleaning pact. Could the agency have used phantom agents? A wild theory suggests the black bars hide the creation of entirely fictional officers with elaborate backstories, and the bars cover the ghost persona development cost used to drive Soviet counterintelligence into a dead-end loop. Some believe the redactions in the psychosomatic section hide the paranoia pill. Speculation is that the CIA tainted the water supply of the Polish Ministry of Defense with hallucinogens to make the forgeries seem more believable, and the black bars hide the LSD saturation levels. There is a theory that the black bars hide the sleeper activation. Speculation holds that the forgeries contained trigger words that were designed to cause loyal communists to undergo a mental breakdown, and the redactions cover the neuro-linguistic sabotage results. Finally, some speculate the black bars hide the Warsaw Double. The theory is that a high-ranking official was actually replaced by a CIA-trained look-alike, and the redactions cover the plastic surgery reconciliation photos. Was Operation Splinter Factor a success? Tactically, it was a monster. It decapitated the intellectuals and the military, as well as other people in Poland, obviously. Without the U.S. ever firing a shot, they affected an entire nation. However, strategically, it is debatable. By clearing out the moderate communists, the CIA inadvertently helped Stalin consolidate a more hardline and brutal regime that would last for decades. The big lie of the 50s became the standard operating procedure for the future. Some of the operational breakthroughs include psychological profiling of regimes. The agency learned how to map the breaking point of an entire political party. Advanced document forgery. The development of synthetic aging for paper and ink allowed the CIA to create instant history. Black broadcasting coordination. Splinter Factor perfected the art of using media to amplify internal paranoia. Defector exploitation. Yosef provided the blueprint for how to use a high-level defector not just for info, but as a weapon of war. Operation Splinter Factor shows us that in the world of intelligence, a lie doesn't have to be true to be effective. It just has to be loud. Thanks for listening. Join us next time as we examine Operation Paperclip. When the smoke cleared in Berlin, the agency didn't just want the territory, they wanted the brains. We'll uncover the secret pipeline that brought Nazi scientists to American soil. We'll also dive into the shadow files of Project 63, the hidden recruitment fee of aerospace engineers that the government tried to keep off the books. From the V-2 rocket to the moon, how much of our giant leap was built by men with blood on their hands? Join us for the science of sin. In the meantime, I'll see you in the archives.